Hey, we're on air. It is Thursday, April 18th, and this meeting is to check in on our community outreach things. To start, we want to talk about our website. Most exciting thing is that we have actually added a Drupal 7, upgrading from Drupal 7 section to our homepage. I made something up really quickly and then realized I couldn't do it without design help, and so I put a link into the Gitter channel, and then Gregory came right away and was like, you know what you could do that would fix this? And he gave me all the feedback I needed, which is amazing. And so I was able to put it all together. So starting sort of from Nika's designs and then using Gregory's recommendations on how to fix it. So we now have a giant big box just underneath the rainbow area about upgrading Drupal 7 that includes the number of modules that are included in Backdrop Core, the number of top 100 modules that are ready, and total number of add-ons. I just said 500 plus. I didn't know if we needed an exact number there, but I thought that looked nice.
Yeah.
Okay. And when we get to 600, we can make it 600 plus.
Yeah. Disclaimer, not a designer, so.
But hey, it's much better than what I had done. So,
Works though.
That we do have a page on our website for the number of modules included, as well as the number of top 100 modules ready. I wasn't sure whether it would be worthwhile to put a link to each one of those sections, or to just have sort of the main call to action be the upgrade from Drupal button as it is now.
We could add it.
Maybe just link like the heading or something.
Yeah, those links that say 600 plus whatever, we can link all these to sort of like something that proves that things are the way that we say that they are.
Okay, I can do that.
Yeah.
And then that's the most exciting thing on the website. We also have had some new blog posts. I think mostly Tim. So Tim, thank you so much for writing the blog post about the contribution day, which is this Saturday. I've already gotten a bunch of pings from random people who are curious about it. I'm sure I don't know if you've drummed all of those up too, but yeah, that's exciting that we're getting a whole bunch of people who want to work on it.
Are we getting stuff in Twitter, or how are people pinging you?
I got somebody pinged me directly on Twitter and was like, what are you doing? Is it local? Can I come? And I was like, well, but you mean it's online. I'm going to be local, but I'm working with a bunch of high school students, so I think probably my focus should be on them. But yeah, having a bunch of people online would be great. I know, Tim, you mentioned you're going to have some time on Saturday sort of during the sweet spot. Gregory, I don't know what time of day that is for you. That might not work.
Sorry, I was lost in space. What time was that? Sorry.
So it's going to be roughly 11 a.m., 10 or 11 a.m. California time. So that's like, what, 3 in the morning or something?
Yeah. I've checked it and it was 3.
Yeah. But we are going to try. So the required time is all the students have to be there till noon. And then if they want to keep working on the project, like if we get some people writing documentation and they want to stay, they get community service hours to continue going until 4. So I'm hoping that we'll keep at least half of them. So we're starting with like 12. So if we can get 6 people there till 4, that'll be great. So if you wanted to just pop in at any time and see what's going on, you're welcome to do that. I'm not sure how active it's going to be, but one of the things I really want to teach them is like how to use the forum and how to use Gitter. And so having like other real people there to be like, welcome to Gitter, I think is going to be like really cool for them. So
can I just say this? I published the times actually from noon to 6, my local time, which would be 10 to 4 your time.
I'm not sure they're all going to stay till the end.
No, I understand. I publicized that online so that there was a big, partly I was going to do 2 hours less, and I thought, well, if I did it a little longer, maybe Gregory would have a chance to join us if he wants, but no obligation. Anyways, there's a big enough window there, and I'm just going to be online that whole time working. So it's more if somebody wants to drop in later online, whether or not you guys are still working or not.
Okay, that sounds great. I think that also kind of opens up opportunities for people, like aside from the in-person sprint, like, different parts of the world you want to contribute. You don't have to be there.
What we could do, I've actually done this on some rare occasions before, is just sort of open up a Google Hangout for co-working, where we just have a Google Hangout going in a tab, and we're not really it's like if you have a question or something, you can just sort of ask somebody.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
But you don't, it's really just going in the background, and we're not recording it or anything. It's just like a voice channel. So what I might do is literally set up a Google Hangout, just have it run all afternoon, and if anybody wants to jump in there, they can. It's like just open office hour.
Yeah, I think that would be great. I am tempted to kind of run that. I sign in from my computer too, but I would probably end up being like muted most of the time because it's likely to be very loud in the room that I'm in. But at least I could kind of point, like I could put it on a projector on the screen or something and be like, hey, don't forget, like if you have questions, you can jump in here. I just don't know, like logistically, if it would make much sense if we've got 12 teenagers in a room to have any of them be.
No, I'm thinking about this mostly in case anybody else joins us.
Yeah, I think it'll be cool for them to see it. So I'm trying to figure out how to be like, this thing happens. Don't use it right now. But I mean, I don't know. Maybe I could pull it up as like a viewing, like a YouTube.
I think it's a good idea.
Yeah,
to have multiple channels. Just as a thought, since we were mentioning that, do you guys know any chatting software and video call as well that has assistive technology? And the reason why I'm mentioning that is that it's been maybe a month now, even could be more. The Slack channel for the UI, the admin UI for Drupal, they've decided to go from using Hangouts to actually doing it on the Slack channel because people that have disabilities cannot follow video. So if we had multiple channels, I know it's a bit more direct when we use the video and we do it live, but there's people that are excluded. And I was wondering, like, we could do some research and see if there's but it will have to be, I know that when you upload videos in YouTube, YouTube can do like subtitling. Yeah, but I think that's after the fact. I'm not sure that there's any technology that does it live as you speak, but we should.
There is. They were using something at Drupal Camp Chicago where when we were giving a talk, there was a machine that would like live print all of our words onto a screen. So if there are people who are having trouble hearing us, they could see it. And so I thought that was really cool. I don't know what technology that was. We could probably ask them. It might work for just any video call too. If we had it parsing everybody's audio, we can. I don't know. It seems there's a lot of potential use for that.
And I've seen that the automatic thing in YouTube is not 100%, but still, person would. I mean, it's better than nothing.
Yeah.
Just a thought.
I like the thought. I'd love to try. Okay. So Tim, I know you have thoughts about this agenda, so feel free to interrupt or pull me off track. But because this is how I do it, this is how I keep doing it. So I just wanted to say thank you, Gregory, for getting the Drupal 7 section done. Anyone has any feedback on that, definitely let us know. You can create an issue in the backdropcms.org queue or however else you feel like letting us know. We are still working on improving the modules, themes, and layout sections. The homepage demo link, unfortunately, does not work on our new PHP 7 servers. We don't know why. Nate is going to look into it. He knows it's on his agenda, and it doesn't look like that's going to get done by Saturday, but he's going to see if there's some kind of quick fix we could do that maybe would make it get done by Saturday. So I have a plan B where all my kids have local environments they're going to be running, and we're going to get them set up that way too, which is probably also valuable. But for testing, they'll just use the sandboxes that come with the pull requests for now. Blog posts. Tim, thanks for writing the Sprint Day blog post. We have a bunch of stuff queued up. We have the mini camp blog post queued up, which is, I think we should probably publish that the same time the mini camp node gets published on the Twin Cities campsite. I don't know when that's going to be, but if they have a date, we could use the scheduling thing since we have scheduler on our site, and that might be fun. If not, we can just kind of keep an eye on it and be like, oh, they did it, we'll do it, and do the same thing. Tim, I embedded a form in there, I think.
Yeah, you did.
Okay. So if you guys have any thoughts on the questions, it's just a normal like session submission, like how long is your session? What are you presenting on? And what's your name and email? But if you have anything else you want to ask, like experience level or whatever else, we could throw that in there too. I didn't ask anything kind of track focused. I did put a bullet list of like wondering what to present on and put some stuff at the bottom. If anyone wants to add anything to that list, that's also possible. Right now, this form is on webform.com, and that's just because I could use webform to build the form and then take the like embed JavaScript thing and plunk it wherever. So I thought this will work to plunk on our site. We can plunk it on their site. We can do whatever, and we'll have one consolidated location of stuff. I think long term, we might want to move this form onto backdropcms.org, and it would give us the ability to have a like a database of people who are interested in submitting on various topics, and it would give us at the second mini camp the ability to go back to the first person and say, hey, you didn't get to present at the last camp, but we really liked your idea. Would you consider presenting at this next one? And it would also give us a really good repository of like session things if we want to put videos or PDFs or whatever on there too, which I think could be cool. But I have like kind of really grandiose ideas about how to do that, like setting up an events site, integrating with Civi CRM. And so I'm not sure we need to do all of that right now. I think the web form's fine. But I do think that there's a lot of cool implications of us kind of owning this data ourselves from the beginning that the Drupal community didn't get. And because we're doing it with hindsight, we have more opportunities here.
Right. So that raises a couple, I'm going to interrupt now.
Yep.
Let's just talk about quick updates on the backdrop at minicamp, right? So the status is I probably could publish a node on the backdrop minicamp. I just haven't on TC Drupal. I need to get that happening. I really want that to happen. I wanted to, for the last 2 weeks, I really wanted to get that happening. So try and get it done. I don't know if I can promise today, but let's say worst case scenarios, I sprint on that on Saturday and get that done. Hopefully before that. I did invite very casually. I posted a link. I told folks yesterday if they wanted to jump on this call, they could, and I posted a link. I didn't really expect anybody to, but just so that we're kind of being open to them and other people on the committee if they want to participate or join us. I feel like I had another. Is there anything else? Oh, Jan, one question that's come up. You submitted 3 sessions, and a question came up, and this had already occurred to me, like if we're doing the mini camp, are you submitting your sessions for the regular camp? I assume that was your intention.
Yeah, so I think I submitted the sessions before we even had the idea about the mini camp. Okay. So I was just like, I wanted there to be lots of options. So if you guys only wanted me to do 1 session, you could choose one of the 3. I don't have any strong feelings about like if you think Twin Cities giving us a mini camp, is that we don't need to have another session if you only have 1 day of sessions and you have a bunch of good sessions. But if you want it, it's there. So I would say like I will not feel upset if all 3 of those sessions are rejected because we have enough backdrop sessions in the mini camp. So I'll just leave it up to the organizers to decide what they want to do with those.
That's kind of my feeling. Also, we have the unconference, which we can talk about backdrop all we want that day. So I feel like there's going to be a lot of opportunities to talk about backdrop. We don't need a session, but I think having them there doesn't hurt. Yeah. If there's a shortage or so Jared Davis brought this up and I sort of said, well, maybe we don't need to do these. And I'm a little bit feeling conflicted because I would be happy to schedule them as well during the Drupal camp, but I don't want to be that guy. But Jared was, he sort of came back and said, maybe we do them. And, it would make sense to have a backdrop session on Friday as well. Yeah. So we'll see.
I think it's totally fine to leave it up to conference organizers. Like I personally would love to have, be able to talk to the people who know their backdrop people as well as being able to talk to people who don't yet know about backdrop. Right. But I totally understand from a conference organizer perspective, but put that hat on. It's like, we've got enough backdrop content.
Yep.
But if you feel like there's a shortage of content or want to put me in the last slot of the day or the first slot of the morning or something, and you're like, I don't want to do that to anyone else, I'm totally happy to do whatever conference organizers want. So
Okay.
we've got lots of options.
Good, that's it. Now, sort of transitioning this to some of the other stuff in your last comments about capturing data in the web form. One of the things that's been occurring to me is like, how do people sort of register for like the virtual user group in a way that we can like remind them, hey, there's another one coming up, right? We don't have a good way to do that now. And it was just occurring to me. And then I was thinking about like the newsletter right now. We're not effectively using the newsletter for things like this weekend, or maybe we need, but MailChimp, allows us to have multiple lists and multiple sign-up boxes, right? So maybe what we need is another, in addition to the newsletter checkbox on the site, we need an announcement about events. Like, I want to be updated about events with the recognition that that could be, a couple times a month, but it would be just short, like, hey, we're doing a virtual user group, or
even just like once a month. These are all the events this month. That
Sure.
would be fun too. Yeah.
that would be fine too, but take that out of the, not have the design group involved in that, so that we can just do it quickly, right? Because I think that's something I could do if I could just do it, right?
Yeah, that would be great.
So is there any, what are the roadblocks or obstacles to that? Just setting up another like.
Getting a starting list, I think, would be a good thing to do, because right now we don't have anyone that's opted into the events list. So maybe what we should do is look
with the next newsletter. With the next newsletter, we can add and say, hey guys, there's a new list now only for events. Subscribe or update your profile or something like that.
Yeah.
I think if we tweeted about it, we'd get 10 or 20 people pretty quickly.
Yeah.
That would sign up for an events newsletter. So we just need to set up the list in MailChimp, and add a box to the website, right?
Yeah, and we can put the box directly on the events page on the website too, and that way anyone who goes there to find events will find the box too.
Yeah.
So Tim, do you have access to the MailChimp account?
I don't think so.
Okay, I'm gonna log in there today.
I might.
Everything. And see if you do, because if you could help set up that list and sign up form, I think that would be great. We can just drop it wherever on backdropcms.org. You could do that too. And then, if you want to start tweeting about it, you'll be able to point directly to the sign up form, and we could be off and running.
Sounds like the event list and the individual event pages, like the nodes.
Yeah, that's a good idea too.
And also, I'm not sure if it is integrated with the user profile. Like,
it's not. We don't have that right now. There is an issue in the backdropcms.org queue to set up closer integration with MailChimp so that on people's user profile, they'll be able to opt in and out of all emails. Right now, the only email opt-in, opt-out there is for security, because those messages come directly from the website. But from a user perspective, I want to sign up for all those things in the same place. So it would be good if we could get the MailChimp module integration so that you can just check a box and it'll send the data back to MailChimp to add people to lists. So I know there's a MailChimp module for Drupal that does that. It has like a huge PHP library that MailChimp maintains that I don't think is GPL. So we'll need to figure out how to manage that in a backdrop world. So this is the use case for libraries that actually exists, right? So we need to figure out how to solve this problem. We have to figure it out anyway, but I think figuring out for backdropcms.org is a good place to fight that battle. So.
Yep. Yeah. So talking about camps, so the Byron Bay Drupal camp that is coming up next Friday and Saturday.
Which one is this?
Byron Bay.
Byron Bay.
Yes. So that's close to Brisbane. I think I already have it in the list of events. So I had applied like a month and a half ago, and I also shared that thing as a comment on the Drupal Australia and New Zealand challenge. And I said, hey guys, would anyone be interested in a backdrop talk? And then I had it wasn't a pushback, but there was a person that said, "Oh, it's a Drupal event, so I would rather hear about Drupal, not anything else." But I applied nevertheless, and I got accepted. But the thing is that there was some miscommunication, and I think it might have been on my end, like a problem with my mail server. And then I poked the organizer just 2 or 3 days ago. So there's good things and bad things. So it happens on a Saturday, on a Friday and a Saturday. But the bad thing is that all the Saturday slots, which are easier for people because it's not a work day, have been filled. The good news is that I was given a 3-hour slot for a training even. So lots of things to talk about. And thanks, Jen, for the cheat sheet with the thing. It's going to be useful.
Good.
It hasn't been added to the list, the session to the list, the official list on the website, but it's been confirmed over text by the maintainer. So that's good news.
I'm looking at it. It's on the front page of the website.
Oh, is it?
Yep. If you scroll down the front web page, it's on in the sessions. Backdrop CMS, 4 years.
I just checked. Literally, I just checked before.
Okay.
It might be my page cache because it doesn't show for me. It's just, let me see.
Okay. Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. I'm just.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, I just saw it now.
Okay.
Workshop.
Oh yes, yes, and it's on Saturday.
Yeah.
And I like the title. So the title was added there, and a couple of days after the title of the the session that I suggested, and a couple of days later, the Drupal 7 end of life thing blog post was announced. So I could have revised, but still, okay, this applies. Mm-hmm. It could have been changed to something. What are my options now that D7 is becoming end of life in a couple of years? But yeah. So yeah, this is happening as well. I'm not sure if these are being recorded or what's going to happen, but yeah, that's good news. It's a couple of years since the Australian audience sort of like directly heard about Backdrop CMS in an event.
Cool.
So
great.
On sort of on that topic, on the topic of outreach and reflection on DrupalCon, not a lot happened, Gregory, that is exciting to announce. We had good conversations, but I'm still a little bit surprised at the people I meet at DrupalCon that don't know what Backdrop is.
Yeah.
I just think there's more awareness about it than there is. And I meet, fairly, I was telling Jen, a local guy that runs a shop that outsources, big Backdrop projects, and we started talking, or big Drupal projects. And I brought up Backdrop to him, and he had no idea what I was talking about. So,
yeah, I'll get a feeling. I have no idea. The organizer is pretty good. Like, he lets you know how many people have registered for the specific session. So we'll have an idea. But even just a few people, I think the last time was it wasn't just a camp. It was the Drupal South, which is the equivalent of the DrupalCon for Australia and New Zealand. So initially there were the bad thing there is that there's 3 or 4 sessions happening at the same time, so people have to choose, and there were some interesting ones. So there were only a few, like maybe 25 people in the room, mm-hmm. which is a good number. Nevertheless, if you compare it to the whole the number of the actual attendees, it wasn't many, but that was like 2 years. It was 2016. September 2016, so it was 2 years and a half ago, almost 3 now. I'm hoping if this goes well and there's demand, I will also apply for the next Drupal South, which is sort of like the big thing. This is local to the Brisbane area, Queensland.
Yep.
So, but all good news so far. My holiday, so it's Friday here, Good Friday. Mm-hmm. So holiday for most people are starting, so I have good time to prepare this time.
I also am doing next weekend is the mini bar, this huge unconference in the Twin Cities. Like, it's sort of an unconference. You schedule your sessions in advance, but it's uncurated. Anybody can just declare a session and they find a room for you. And I have a Backdrop session scheduled for next Saturday. Only about 5 people have expressed interest so far, but We'll see.
Yeah. So that's not a Drupal-specific event. You can talk about anything, right?
Yeah. That's just a tech startup event.
Tech.
So,
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Sounds cool. I was hoping to get some stickers for this Drupal South thing, but yeah, it didn't work out. Maybe next time.
That's
I don't think so. My holiday starts. I'm taking my family on a road trip to Brisbane, so I'm combining the both. I didn't know that the Brisbane thing was going to happen, so it was planned way before. But it means that I have no time to organize stickers or anything else. But yeah, next time.
We also didn't adequately pack for DrupalCon. Somehow we got there and we're like, who has the stickers? Nobody has stickers.
oh,
What is this? It was like, I had like 7. I give them all out the first day and was like, okay, time to stock up on more stickers. Like, what? How do we go to DrupalCon without stickers? And they forgot business cards, which is like, how are we so out of like practice at DrupalConning? I don't know. But
yeah. I think I need to hook up with the project manager that organized on our end the stickers for my company, the previous Drupal South, because I think they got a good deal. So instead of having you ship it from US, it's better if I print it here locally.
Yeah.
Yeah. And same for t-shirts, I guess, and hoodies. But yeah, we've done that. So I'm not sure about the cost. But yeah, we'll figure it out along the way.
I have a list somewhere of like, it's okay. I'll find it.
Yeah.
I want to put on the website.
I think we also have an issue for that, Jen.
Okay. As long as there's
Sort of like find a home for all our sort of like
assets.
assets. Yeah, we have one, but it's for the marketing, not for the Illustrator things that we have for stickers and hoodies.
Okay.
So
All right, let's see. How are we doing? Do you want to talk about your mini bar, then?
I don't think so. I'm just going to do kind of an introductory. This is what Backdrop is again, because this is not this. The folks that are showing up that won't necessarily be Drupalers. I promoted this as a just Backdrop CMS or an option for small businesses and nonprofits. And yeah, so this will be an interesting, like the first time I've talked about Backdrop on Drupalers. Although, maybe some Drupal people show up, and I don't know if anybody will show up. This is a case where you can express your interest and think where you might go on that day, but and then that's how they allocate rooms. The more votes you get, the bigger room you get. We're going to get a pretty small room based on how many people have clicked on it so far, but you never know what happens that day, and it could be we get more people or less. We don't know. That's it.
So it looks like also Drupal Camp Munich is going on this week.
Yes.
I know Olaf was giving a talk there, so that's exciting. I'm looking forward to hearing how that goes. And then we have Drupal Camp Stanford, I guess, is a month away. So there's a whole bunch of stuff this week. Civi Camp is today and yesterday in Oakland, which we didn't get to because we're recovering from DrupalCon, but I know the Civi people are really supportive of Backdrop. Civi works on Backdrop. There's a bunch of people who are using Backdrop and Civi together, so hopefully they're talking about it there. But yeah, this week is a big week. Next week too. And then we've got a little break for a month, which is good.
Is there any other DrupalCon follow-up that we should talk about that you can think of? I can't. Just checking.
I have a lot of like personal follow-up with people who like we chatted with and I'm like, oh yeah, I'll contact you after DrupalCon. But I don't think, it's like people who are like, oh, I'm interested in Backdrop, let's talk more. But I don't know if there's anything useful yet to say.
Okay.
I don't know. It seems to me, based on conversations at DrupalCon, that most of the people that I talked to already knew about Backdrop, which was good. But I also talked to people that already knew me, so like less surprising. Like, what are you doing these days? Oh, right. But it did seem like there were a whole bunch of people who were struggling with particular projects, not being able to move to Drupal 8. in evaluating Backdrop for real. Whereas before it was like, oh, that's an idea, I'll think about it later. And now it's later. And so it comes to me like, okay, I have this specific project. How would this work? And they're, very particular things like this is multi-site. And we're like, we do multi-site. And they're like, oh, okay. And they're like, this is, we use this particular theme. And you're like, oh, you could use that too. So it was very specific questions rather than sort of the general, like, how's it going? Which I thought was good.
Yeah. And I think it's going to become more specific as we move on to the end of life for Drupal 7. So people are going to start evaluating. So I'm always ranting about, like, we have a random channel in our company, and I'm always ranting about Backdrop, and everybody's like politely saying that I'm annoying, but not exactly. They're just teasing me. But the thing is that I always bring up the user statistics for Drupal core, and I never actually compared like the curve that happens after the release of D8, and I never happened to compare that graph with what happened when D7 was released. And I actually looked up, and it's more disappointing. Like, we are losing, and I mean not Backdrop, but Drupal, the community have been losing audience, like user base, I should say. So it seems from the statistics, because I had to go to the Wayback Archive machine, whatever it was, and it was tremendous. Like in 3 years, D8, after D8 was released, the overall usage of Drupal remained the same and slightly dropping. But the respective 3 years for D7, it was something from like 600,000 to 1 million. So there's, I think, a difference comparatively. D7 was successful in that it brought to the community 400,000 sites, and the respective thing after D8 was released is only like 50 to 60,000 sites. It's a big difference. Yeah, it was bigger than I thought. That's my main point. It's like I didn't have hard numbers. Anyways.
Yeah, so I think a lot of that too is Drupal finally stating their audience, right? So there's probably a lot of people being like, oh, Drupal's not for me anymore. Where I don't think we had that with Drupal 7. There was and people were upset about the transition. You can see there was like a flat line until views came out, and then it shot up, where I think everybody was like grumpy about it, but they still felt like this is a place for me. I'm going to make my way in it. Where now I think there are people looking at it going, oh, they don't want me here anymore. Maybe I'll evaluate other options. And the move to 8 is hard for people. It's expensive, and it's, if you're not a developer, you don't have a development team, it's not something I think you can struggle through in the same way you could struggle through the update to 7. So I think that we also need to give it more time than 7, though, because since it's harder, it's going to take more people longer to get there. But yeah, this is like the graph that Nate predicted when he released the manifesto, right? Where it's like, without Backdrop, Drupal's going to flatline. That's what we're seeing. And so it's like, well, hopefully Backdrop can like start to, fill in the gap there. We can get, like, if you add Drupal and Backdrop together, maybe we'll still grow. So
speaking of numbers and statistics, like, what should we be watching to see activity? And, like, how will we know if there's a surge in interest in Backdrop?
I'm not sure when you started joining the meetings team, but we had a section, I think, initially it was only the dev meeting before we sort of like scheduled this interchanging between the design and the outreach. Mm-hmm. And there was a section that was community growth statistics, something like that. And we had all the things like, we had numbers of how many modules, yes, and the sort of like the diff, like plus 10 more projects, something like that, plus so many users on b.org, plus so many users.
Put that, those information into the outreach meeting so that we can cover that, and not just like numbers like we used to have it, but if we could have some kind of like graph over time, so it'll be like, here are the last 5 outreach meetings, and you can see it like charted. I'm sure there's a way you can embed a little graph into a Google document. I'll look into that, just so we can track that and be like, okay, over the last month, we've seen an increase, but not that much. And then all of a sudden be like, oh, it shot up. Like, that's way more than the month before.
So on our front page, the section that's for team's benefit, So the section that states that the ribbon that has the community members thing and how many pull requests and so on and so forth was sort of like an outcome of, yes, we are dropping this section from the weekly meetings, but we should automate it, like things, yeah. And there's various sources that we sort of like grab these stats from. And so, yeah, maybe we can add that. We currently have the ribbon shows the current numbers, but it doesn't keep a track of the history.
Right.
Yeah, so we can't get a graph out of it.
Yeah, I also think like there's other things we can track now. Like we didn't have the forum site when we used to do those numbers. I think keeping a count on like forum comments in addition to these are GitHub comments would be valuable. And we have that data. We could pull it ourselves and add those numbers together here. And same thing with like members. Right now we have, these are the unique users on backdropcms.org, but I think we should do like a unique different, like who are the users on the forum as well, because there could be people who are there but not here. And then we also have like GitHub users that we're not counting because we're assuming they're duplicated in one of those other places. But I've seen people pop up in GitHub who are like working on things. I'm like, who are you? Where did you come from? That aren't active in the forum or on backdropcms.org, which might also be useful to track. So it's a little harder because we don't have the, so many things we want to do. If we had the like single sign-on between backdropcms.org and our other sites, we would have one source of data. If we had the sign-on between backdropcms.org and GitHub, we would have a link between their user names. So maybe we should just postpone all of this until we get all of that done, because I think we will have much better numbers once we get all those integrated.
Yeah, otherwise we're going back to what you call it, manual work to get those numbers every time. So the link that we posted earlier for the procedures theme, if you look at there, there's also a procedure for grabbing those numbers for the weekly meetings.
Oh, okay.
So if you wanna, if you're curious, you might not have access to everything, but if you don't, just say something and we'll fix that for you.
Yeah.
I'd like access to Google Analytics for the site. Is that possible?
Oh, we also have a, oh, it's been Google Docs. Wes made us a fancy Google Analytics thing.
Actually, I feel like we've brought this up before.
Yeah, he like plotted all these like charts of different things over time and like displayed it in this really pretty format where you could see them all at once. And he threw it in a Google Doc. He's like, "Look what I made for Backdrop," and we're all like, "What? That's amazing!" But it's a Google Doc, so I'll never be able to find it again. It might be linked from the issue about, there's an issue for backdropcms.org that says, watch Google Analytics data carefully or something like that. It's probably linked in there because I think that's where Wes did the issue, where did the work on it. But I did talk to him about it at DrupalCon, and he said he thought that page might need an update because it's been a while and Google's might have changed some things, but he was willing to work on it. So that might be something we could pull him in for.
Okay. Probably need to wrap up, huh?
Yeah, just one last. Yeah, one last comment. I was watching. I had postponing. There was an email about a video, a promotional video about Lightning, the distribution, and Dries was one of the co-presenters there. So I finally watched that after many months of postponing it. I know that we were keeping an eye on Drupal 8 core, and that's comparatively to Backdrop, but it seems that the Lightning distro is sort of like has the same goals as in trying to provide as much user experience out of the box as we do, and also a quick startup, like most features that are commonly used out of the box and pre-configured. So there was some interesting stuff there in their list of sort of like features that we should maybe keep an eye on. And I like that. Like I always thought that Drupal core as in its own was sort of like lacking this thing that we do have in Backdrop, but Lightning, at least in theory, from what they present there, does a good job. has a lot of things integrated. Media things, SEO, out of the box, things like that. And maybe there's features that we could consider for Backdrop as well. Just sort of like, yeah, just keep an eye on it.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah. All right, cool. Let's wrap up, and then in 5 minutes, less than 5 minutes actually.
Yeah.
We have the updating.
One
I
thing you
can't
want
do
to
the
say is, Tim, it sounds like you're going to do the Twin Cities thing soon, so that'll be our next blog post. But Greg, I noticed you have two, I think, that are pending. Are either of those close enough that we could like schedule them for a week out or 2 weeks out or something like
Yeah,
that?
both of them have these tiny things that need to happen. So the first one just needs a screenshot or two. The one about adding your profile to d.org.
Okay.
And the other one is that because I was commenting that into a blog site that was using Discuss, whatever they call it, it has eaten up half of the, sort of like a quarter of the last bit of the article. So I have to sort of like out of memory remember what was posted there or go through it. So it's just almost there. It's just that it's on my to-do list and there's too many things there. So
well, is the screenshot a screenshot of backdropcms.org?
The first article, screenshots of how people can add Backdrop on their profile, because most people do not know. They might have the profile on d.org, but they don't know where to add a company or
Is there a little place in there that says like screenshot here so someone else could do that?
I'm not sure. It's been a while.
I'll take a look at it. But I think that's the kind of thing that if we could delegate, that's something that our high school students could work on. So we'll see. There's plenty of issues. I've been going through and like every time I see something that bothers me in Backdrop, I like create an issue and tag it as like good first issue. I'm like, this word, I want to change this word. So hopefully they'll have plenty of stuff to work on.
It works. I know that there's a lot of people, especially coming from the project management sector, that like to close off tickets if they sort of like see no future. That they like to see tidy queues. But even in d.org, people are annoyed that there's so many open tickets. And I think it's a good thing because it's like a to-do list of ideas and people can just go and just grab some from the bucket and make it happen.
Yeah.
It's a good thing.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah. Anyways.
All right, it's time for the development meeting. Thanks for all the good ideas this week, guys, and I will see you again shortly.
In a while. Yep.
Bye.
See ya.